Hi guys, today we're going to go ahead and pick some garlic. Conditions are not ideal. We've had rain for the last 3 days. We have rain for the next 5 days, so I need to go ahead and get this out because I've actually got some separation happening. And this happens when the garlic gets too mature. I was kind of waiting for the rain to dissipate, but it's just not going anywhere. Had a very wet season. But in this video, I'm going to share with you what you need to know in order to successfully grow and harvest the garlic, and then we're going to go ahead and dry it and cure it, and then we'll be ready for storage. I'd like to welcome you to my backyard Kentucky homestead. My name is Kim, and let's get started. As I said, the conditions are not ideal. Really, you want to have for your best curing process, and so that the garlic doesn't rot. You want to have conditions as dry as possible. Unfortunately, we are having a very, very wet spring. I don't even have my drip irrigation on yet. But I need to get this out of the ground again because it's starting to separate, so I will have to use this one first. And what you're looking for generally is going to be the bottom, about half the leaves, so maybe 3 to 4 leaves on the bottom turning brown and dying back. Turn this off. So this is a mole repellent. Tends to work for me pretty good in the raised beds anyway. But again, you want to wait for the bottom 3 to 4 leaves to die back, but you do not want it to go completely brown because each of these leaves are actually the paper skin around the cloves. It is the protection of it. If the entire thing goes brown, then that thing is going to just fall apart and it could actually start separating in the ground. So what you want to do, you don't want to just yank it out of the ground because you could actually tear off the stem, and we need this to actually dry with it still connected to the bulb. So you're going to use some type of digging tool, come around it, and then just pop underneath it, and then gently pull it up. And then we're going to try to get as much of this wet dirt off as we can, so that it'll store better. And I will get this inside on the grow room shelves that are wire, so there's a lot of airflow around it, and have a fan on it. I've got the Nuke Rose in there already. This is music garlic. Behind me is Killarney Red, which is ready. The one behind that is Enchelium, but that is not quite ready. So I'm going to leave that there until next weekend, so about another week or so. And hopefully we'll have a couple of drier days. Got some snapdragons here that are getting ready to bloom. They're going to be so pretty. Yeah, if you're interested in growing garlic and you've not done that before, I have done a couple of videos on planting and also fertilizing it, so that you can have a bigger, better harvest. And I will link those videos below. But we're just going to go ahead and pull the rest of these out and then see what we got. I've never grown music before. Actually, I grew Enchelium last year, but all my garlic was so mixed up I had no idea what it was. So I had to start over from fresh seed that I bought. This year, when my plan is to take these 4, save a few of the cloves and plant them out come late October, early November, because you want to plant garlic in the fall about 4 weeks before your first hard freeze, which is 28 degrees. So I want to go ahead and make sure to save enough of this to plant for fall. So you don't have, if you know what you've got and it's not all mixed up, then you don't have to buy more. I am going to order, or I have ordered actually Hardneck Red to add. So I'll have 5 different types of garlic, plus elephant garlic, which is technically not garlic, but it still tastes just like it. It's actually a leek, and it grows little corms underneath it. And it'll create more bulbs that way. It's really cool. So it has the corms the first year. The second year it has a larger monobulb, which is what generally you would plant to have garlic, elephant garlic the next year. And then after that it'll divide, because we need to have the garlic stratify over the winter, and that's what creates the individual cloves. It causes it to split. And what we'll do once these dry, we will save some of the biggest ones to plant for next year, because the larger the clove you plant, the larger the bulb you should have the following year. Again, I've got another one here that's already starting to separate. So some of these I'll be having to either peel and put in the freezer as whole cloves or make garlic powder out of them. You can also grind them up and freeze them that way as garlic pucks, kind of like little. That's a pretty good size one. Like I said, I've never grown music garlic before. But we do want to make sure to leave everything intact. This is a hardneck garlic. So music and Killarney Red are hardneck, Nootka Rose and Achillium or softneck. And with the hardneck, they actually create a scape, which I've already picked off of here. And what that is that the garlic starts to go to a flower. So once that scape curves, you want to go ahead and pick it, and then you can actually use that in a stir fry. You can use that to make garlic scape powder or garlic scape pesto. So you can just use it in cooking just like you would onion or garlic. And then once I get all of this out of here, that's a nice one. Look at that. Oh, muddy. Yeah, it's separating too. See, I didn't want to pull them today, but I had to because of they were separating. And we got a little tree starting in here. We definitely don't need a tree in the bed. But it is a lot easier and cleaner to pull garlic when it's dry. But like I said, I appreciate not having to water the garden because our water is expensive here. But sometimes you need a little bit of a break. And I will turn this bed over and plant something else here. Got some squash. I want to plant some more pumpkins. It is mid-June. We have a very long growing season, so we have about 125 to 130 days left, depending on when the first frost is. So we still have time to plant quite a bit of stuff. Okay. And you do want to be careful that you don't nick. I think I just nicked that with that. I felt it when I hit it. So if you do damage a bulb or if it is separating, you'll want to be sure to use that first. And that is an onion. So we're going to leave that there. But we do want to go ahead and make sure to get these dry as fast as possible because they could actually have rot. They could rot and have fungal disease. And garlic is actually very easy to grow. It's one of those that you plant it, fertilize it a couple times, plant it in October, fertilize it a couple of times in the spring, and then just make sure it's watered and you're good to go. Doesn't take up much space and gives you an incredible amount of flavor in your cooking. And people actually really love it as a gift too. I gifted garlic last year. Yeah, these needed to have come out about a week ago. Oh well. Just do the best you can. Alright, that's the music garlics. Let's clean that off and then we can get it inside. So I've washed the table off and dried it, and we're going to go ahead and lay the garlic out so that it can start to dry a little bit. Maybe we can knock a little bit more dirt off before we pull it into the house. And so far, this is just the music garlic. But I did find quite a few of them were splitting, so it definitely had to come out. Ideally, if you had an outdoor location that was covered, it would be really good, or like a garage or carport would be a really good place for this to cure, but I don't have that. So we're going to go ahead and put it inside on the grow light station, push the shelving with the fan on it so that it'll dry down faster. Because again, with the rain we're having, we're also having very high humidity. All right, so we'll leave this here. We're going to go ahead back and get the Killarney Red now. But this is when I pulled to check. So a good thing to do with garlic as it's getting closer to when the leaves start turning brown, go ahead and pull one every so often, because you can check to see this one here is also separating. And you want to make sure to pull it before it gets to that point. So just do a test pull, pull one and see how it is. You want to make sure that the head, the garlic bulb is fully formed, but you want to grab it before it starts to separate. So let's see what else we've got here. And the difference, I don't think I talked about the difference. I have in other videos, but the difference between hardneck and softneck is literally there's a hard stem here that comes out of the garlic, so it's not bendable. Softnecks are the ones that you can actually braid, and they're also better for more southern regions, warmer zones. Hardneck garlic, if you're going to plant that in the south, you're going to want to make sure to put it in the refrigerator for a couple of weeks, because it needs to have that vernalization process, stratification. But some of the differences between hardneck and softneck: hardneck garlic will form scapes, which I've talked about a little bit already. You pull those off when they start to curl. Softneck does not have scapes, but one of the advantages of softneck, one, it's good for southern regions, but softneck garlic will also store for a longer period of time. So hardneck usually is about 6 months, where softneck garlic could actually store up to a year. So there are advantages to both. If you're able to grow both, I definitely recommend that. I like it. Hardneck garlic does tend to have a stronger flavor, but there's just so many varieties out there. This garlic I got, I think, from Johnny's and also from Mad Garlic Growers up in Ohio. And then this year, the Chestnut Red I'm getting from Southern Seed Exchange. So there's a lot of online sellers for garlic. The non-organic garlic at your store is going to have seed inhibitor sprayed on it, or sprout inhibitor sprayed, so it may not actually grow very well. So if you want to get it from the store, you want to get organic garlic. And what you buy from seed suppliers is going to be usually organic and disease-free. This is really, really nice. Soil looks really, really good. All right, so we get this cleaned off and then put it out on the patio. I would have to say the Nuka Rose was nice, but these are huge. Definitely the biggest garlic that we've had so far. And Chilium, I'm not expecting a whole lot from. It kind of flopped over because of a windstorm we had, and the potatoes were growing over it. It's not ready. It's a little further behind, so we're not going to pick that today. But hopefully in maybe next weekend, we'll be able to get that one out. I have to keep an eye on it. But it's not as far. The lower leaves are still green. So the potatoes are dying back, but it'll be probably another couple of weeks on these. The Yukon Gold and the Red Norland I would love to pick today, but it is really, really wet. I'm not sure. I think potatoes could actually go longer without having them separate or damage. So it won't hurt them to stay in the ground for another week. That's monstrous. That's huge. Love it. Put this where I can find it, or I will lose it. Okay. So I have some butternut squash on that side already, and I'm wanting to trellis that up. This arch that's over me. There we go. So let's get this up to the patio to start drying out. So here's our music garlic. We got 45 heads plus one unfortunate onion that came up with the Killarney Red. So we'll just add that to dinner. But we got 45 music garlic, and then we got 23 of the Killarney Red, which are just absolutely massive. So I'm gonna let them dry down out here a little bit and then pull them inside. All right, guys, so I brought the garlic inside. I kind of broke my camera and the microphone, so I'm having to do this a little bit differently. Hopefully it works. But we do have the garlic indoors. I have hung it up. I have this clothes rack. I used it initially for my sort of makeshift grow tent with the Mylar plastic, but it's worked really good for this. I've just taken really long zip ties and tied 3. These are the music garlic. So I've just taken 3 per grouping and hung them upside down. And if you're going to do it this way, last year I laid them flat. This year I'm going to try hanging them like this. You want to make sure that you put the bulb end up so that the moisture will drain away from the bulb. Because what we're wanting to do is to make sure that this neck dries down completely. So we will need to leave this garlic curing, till all of the green is completely brown. Once that is completely brown, this neck will close up so no bacteria can get into the bulb. And then we'll be able to cut it off maybe about 1 inch above the bulb. And then we'll be able to cut off the roots as well. But it's going to take a couple of weeks for that to happen. Now, I did bring this indoors. I would highly recommend, if you have a place outdoors or in a shed or garage, this will make your house smell like garlic. You won't have vampires, probably, but your house will smell like garlic. Mine does. But we're okay with that. This is worth it. It's a short period that it's going to smell like that. But an outdoor covered area, you want to make sure it doesn't get wet, has good airflow, and is not in direct sun. So if you've got a patio cover or a sunroom, something that has a lot of air circulation, carport, shed. I'm going to try to get my shed set up next year to do that. It's just not ready for that this year. But anyway, so this is the music. So for the Nuka Rose, I just pushed them through these wire grates or the wire shelving and just tried to spread them out and grab them onto. We ended up with 45 music garlic bulbs. We ended up with 30 Nuka Rose. Now I had the same problem with these that I had with the music garlic, in that the paper started to separate. So we will need to use this first. What I did for the Killarney Red is put 2 per grouping with these zip ties or twist ties, and then just put them around the shelf so that they've got plenty of airflow around them. So these are massive. These I got from Mad River Garlic The music came from Johnny's, the enchilium and Nuka Rose, I think, also came from Mad River Garlic. But I would highly, at this point, recommend those. These are massive cloves of Killarney Red garlic. I would definitely be planting this one again next year. Probably some of the others, but definitely this one. It is huge. So we'll give this a few weeks and then we'll go ahead and trim it up and then we'll be able to store it. The stuff that has started to peel off, to separate, we'll go ahead and process that and either put it in the freezer or make garlic powder. So here's our garlic. We are good for 2025. We do have one more to pick, the enchilium, which I will pick next weekend. It's still not quite there and we've had more rain since I picked this. We are absolutely waterlogged. The next week we're supposed to go into the high 90s and no rain. So we'll see what that does to the garden. Anyway, if you're interested in growing garlic, please check out this video on how to plant it. I'll link it below as well as one of how to fertilize it in the spring so that you get the biggest, best bulbs you can get. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so and hit the like button if you found this video helpful. And I want to thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Happy gardening and bye.